Hello and welcome. I'm Rossi Sanchez, and this is the Mindful Evening Hour. For those of you who are here for the first time, this is the rhythm. I will speak about the topic for a few minutes, and then we'll do a mindfulness meditation practice. And if anyone's still awake by then, we'll have some discussion at the end. Sound good? Today's topic is paying attention, the secret to happiness. Ever wonder where your day goes? Even if you're working remotely and don't have to commute, your day can still get away from you. A hurried swirl of activity, meals, errands, meetings, messages, and conversations that you can barely recall by the time you go to bed. Day in and day out, most of us are just trying to deal with whatever life throws at us. We're on autopilot, distracted, our thoughts either in the past or looking toward the future, and we act based on how we've acted before and use past assumptions to predict future outcomes. We make to-do lists and try to check off as many items as possible. And if we succeed, we feel relieved, even accomplished. But can you honestly remember what you were thinking or feeling when you were going through your day, trying to beat the clock in order to finish your tasks and check them off your list? Can you recall an unexpected exchange with someone you encountered? Can you remember the details of a meeting without looking at your notes? Do you remember what you had for lunch? Do you regret ending the day without being able to spend quality time with a loved one? Or worse yet, ignoring to take care of yourself? It's so easy to get lost and overwhelmed in our hectic lives, but the truth is, we can stop the madness. Very recent research has shown that we think an average of more than 6,000 thoughts a day. This new research has also been able to pinpoint where one thought pattern ends and another begins, like transitions. They call these transitions thought worms. And I believe we've all experienced these worms when we start thinking about one thing and end up thinking about something totally different. It's as if we got on a plane in LA, going to New York, and ended up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. How did that happen? It's easy. You see, 47% of the time, our mind is wandering. Where's it going? Mostly to ponder things about ourselves. It's about me, mine, and I. Thoughts, emotions, relationships. Who liked my Instagram post? Why did I eat that extra slice of pizza? Why isn't he calling? Yada, yada, yada. They're thoughts of ourselves as the center of the universe. And they can be quite obnoxious, redundant, and pessimistic at times. The default mode network in our brain is a node that connects our logical thinking brain to the limbic system, which is the most ancient part of our brain, which is where emotions reside. When the default mode network turns on, it lights up the stage. So we can replay favorite or upsetting scenes over and over again. This default mode network mulls over our life, the problems we face, the difficulties in our relationships, our worries and anxieties. It ruminates about what's bothering us and allows us to beat up on ourselves quite a bit, which is why we feel relieved when we can turn it off. Turn it off. So, can we turn it off? How, I bet you're wondering. By focusing. You see, this network shuts down the minute we do something that requires attention and effort. Rock climbing, kiteboarding, or downhill skiing are perfect examples of activities that require intense focus if you want to live to tell about it. But you don't have to do extreme sports to be focused. You just have to be paying attention to the task at hand, whether that's writing an email, having a conversation, or making pancakes. And if the activity happens to be something that you love to do and you get in the flow, even better. For example, I'm passionate about photography, particularly people and portrait photography. So whether I have a photo shoot scheduled or I'm just out and about shooting, I can get totally consumed by the experience. Time becomes irrelevant. I'm watching people. I'm watching the lights. I'm watching colors. I'm watching movement. I forget to eat. I forget to drink. I'm just focused on the next great shot. I'm in my own movie, but it's not about me. It's about this wonderful world that I'm observing and endeavoring to capture through my lens. So my mind is 100% occupied on something other than me, and it literally feels like a high, and then lasts for hours afterwards. With social distancing, I haven't been able to shoot people much. But on my daily walks with my dog and my mom, I found other sentient beings freely available to be photographed. These are my tree people. Like people themselves, some of them are friskier than ever, so you may have to excuse them. Let me share them with you. Good. All kidding aside, though, I'm sure you've gotten the flow yourself many times. And when you get so focused on something, whether it's writing code, reading a book, cooking a meal, gardening, or tinkering with your car, whatever it is, when you're focused, doesn't time just fly and you feel blissful? And the opposite is also true. In fact, Harvard researchers found that a wandering mind is an unhappy mind, their own words. So, how do we get off autopilot and get our minds to stop wondering when we've got so much going on and we may not be doing something we love necessarily? The secret is mindfulness. By definition, mindfulness is the act of focusing our attention, the ability to control our daily dose of 6,000 plus thoughts, acknowledging them as they appear, but letting them go if they're not relevant in order to continue to focus on whatever it is we're doing at the moment. Here are a few ways you can introduce mindfulness effortlessly into your day. Anytime you have a meal and before you dig in, pause for a minute and observe your plate, the colors, the aromas, the textures. You may want to thank, verbally or in your mind, the person or people who prepared your meal. And if it's you, feel free to hug yourself. The more good feelings you feel, the more present you are. And of course, the better your day will be. Before you start your workday, whether you're getting in a truck, slipping into a chair, or picking up the phone, pause for a minute. Close your eyes and feel whatever it is you have in your hands. The door handle to your truck, the back of the chair, your cell phone. Run your hands through it. Feel the texture. Is it cold, hot, furry, plasticky? Doesn't matter. Just take a minute to feel it, then go on your way. And the third thing is, before you get into a meeting, pause for a minute and think about how you want that meeting to go. In other words, set an intention. Do you want all parties to have a productive conversation, to come to some needed conclusions or consensus? Or rather than the same old, are you longing for some new creative ideas to solve a problem? Set the intention to be open, flexible, and understanding, and that the meeting will be a great one, even if it's a meeting you have every week. It doesn't have to be the same. Remember my tree people? I take pretty much the same walk around my complex twice a day, yet I see different things all the time. My intention used to be to just get the dog out to do whatever she needed to do. Now my intention is to be surprised, see what nature has in store for me. I spend the same amount of time walking, but I've made a tiny mind shift, and that has made a huge difference in the outcome. And I now have funky pictures. Okay, what if you've done some of these practices and you're going about your day, but something sets you off and suddenly you're feeling distracted and overwhelmed and start knee jerking and reacting with your coworkers, your partner, your children, the Amazon Prime guy, whomever? The first and most important thing to do is to become aware of what you're doing. Then take it a step further. Become aware of yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, and your surroundings, but from a third party perspective, as if you were to step outside of yourself so as not to get swept up in the emotion, but just to see it as clearly and objectively as possible. You can label it even. Oh, there's anger, frustration, disappointment. There could also very well be happiness or joy. Maybe you're elated about something and are distracted by it, and people keep interrupting your joy, so now you're reacting. Whatever the emotion happens to be, just don't associate with it personally, as in, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm happy. Just keep a distance. And as these thoughts writhe and wiggle through your mind, start picking them up and look at them, but do it with curiosity and kindness. Don't judge them or argue with them. Just watch them for what they are, because after all, they're just your thoughts. ideas that pop into your head, most likely from the past and most likely mundane or boring. So don't give them too much credit. Just observe them. You may find that if you don't argue with them or cling to them, they'll move on. You may not have to do anything else but observe them objectively. Now I want to take you through a mindfulness practice of both focused attention and open awareness. With focused attention, you are having your intense focus on something. With open awareness, you become aware that you've gotten distracted and can bring your mind back. A thought just came up. Okay, observe it without judgment and get back to the practice. This open awareness is called meta attention, or paying attention to your attention. And it's key in allowing ourselves to recognize our thoughts as wandering, and all we have to do is refocus. So let's start that practice.
Let's begin by taking a moment to allow your body to settle. Find a comfortable position that allows your spine to be long, but with a natural curve in the low back. You can close your eyes or keep them open with a soft gaze downward a few feet in front of you. Let the belly and the shoulders relax. Today, I'll guide you through a meditation that alternates between focused attention and open awareness. In focused attention, we keep directing our attention back to the breath. In open awareness, we expand our awareness to include whatever is arising, with an attitude of curiosity and spaciousness. Before we start, take a full breath in and a long breath out. Now allow the breath to find its natural rhythm, in and out. As you breathe, the breath can be like an anchor or a foothold as you observe what's happening around you. As you allow yourself to notice whatever is arising, you decide for yourself if you want to dial up or dial down how aware of the breath you are in a given moment. In open awareness, thoughts, sensations, feelings, and sounds will come and go. Some will float by like clouds in the sky, and others will be sticky, taking us for a ride. But whatever arises, try to just notice them, watching them arise and pass away. If you start to feel distracted, you can ground yourself by focusing on the breath again, then returning to open awareness. Now bringing your attention back again to focus on the breath, letting awareness of other things fade to the background. Breathing in, breathing out. You can bring focused attention to the breath by following one complete cycle of breath. The inhale, the exhale, the phases of the inhale and the phases of the exhale. Take a moment now to appreciate your effort in doing this practice. Remember that you can connect with the sense of open awareness as you go through your day and come back to the focused attention on breath to find calm in the body and the mind. Let's finish this open awareness and focused attention practice now by taking a full breath in and a long breath out.
Okay. Anyone still awake? Any thoughts on what you experienced in that mindfulness session?
I thought it was interesting that I kept trying so hard to focus, and then all these things just kept coming to my head. And I was like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to do with those? And those aren't supposed to be coming. I'm supposed to be meditating and not happening. And so it was really
Always,
interesting
yeah.
how much actually came in and noticing. And that's probably just how my brain is normally.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of shocking. It's like too many things.
Yeah, and they may not have anything to do with one another, right? Or they could be a thought worm and be related until they move on. Yeah, until you really take the time to stop and really notice what's going on, you just think this is the way it's supposed to be. But no, I mean, it doesn't have to be that way at all. Any thoughts, Stephanie?
No, same thing as Melissa. Like I kept noticing all these random different thoughts. I'm like, go away. I'm trying to focus here.
Right. It's just that yeah, you become aware of them, which is the open
Yeah.
awareness, and then you just bring it back. Just bring it back. And actually, the more you do that, it's like exercise. The more you're exercising your brain to do that. So it's actually good in a way that you're having to bring it back. It's like a typewriter, you're bringing it back. If you ever remember those, ever see one in a
That was so
I've seen
old
them in
oh, that
movies.
was old
I've
school.
I've
Yeah,
heard
It's
of
old
them.
school.
she's heard of them. She's heard of them.
I know, we learned on a typewriter. Oh,
Yeah, we can
yes.
actually type back. But yeah, I mean, it's like that. It's actually good exercise. So it's not like your thoughts are ever going to be totally silent, but your mind will be a lot quieter than if you're not aware of it and just going with the flow. We will continue to explore the topic of mindfulness. There's a lot to explore as the key to self-awareness and ultimate peace, clarity, and happiness, which is what you gain from this kind of practice, from this kind of knowledge. Next week, we'll be exploring the difference between pain and suffering. So tune in. For now, I'm going to leave you with some homework. And don't worry, you'll likely enjoy it and you can do it anytime. For the next week, anytime you're in conversation with someone, truly listen to what they're saying without trying to anticipate a response, which is what most of us typically do. Just pay attention to that, just like you paid attention now to the practice. And, and let me know how it goes. You'll find this and previous recordings on my YouTube channel, Mindful Evenings. I want to thank you for coming tonight, and I hope this session gets you closer to becoming more free, more open, and blissful. I'm Rossi Sanchez, and this is the Mindful Evening Hour. Good night.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much, Rusty. Thank you so much for showing up, Stephanie. I'm so glad
This is nice.
to get you got
Something
to see
different.
her. Yes, her wisdom.
A little sense of humor
And a little sense of humor.
peppered in there.
All right. Yes. Okay.
Good night,
All
ladies.
right. Good evening.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.